one of the things that I do in my business is we do an online show called Over a Pint, where we interview top producers over a pint of beer, and we just kind of go back and forth and learn a bit about them, how they built their business and things like that. It's usually recorded. What we decided to do for this is a live version of, it's called Over a Pint. So we're going to interview over a pint of beer, and if you guys have questions, because it's live, feel free to come up and ask, and we'll definitely ask those questions as well, but we'll go over and talk about it. So I'm excited we got Doc Livingston here. He is actually a 2017 National Award of Excellence as one of the top 30 in Sutton, so I'm really excited to have him on. Why don't you introduce yourself, let me know a little bit about you, where you work.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Doc. I'm with Sutton West Coast Realty, the Coquitlam office. We moved there just about 3 years ago, I guess, and it's been a wonderful experience so far.
So we decided to go local, and we're drinking Whistler Brewing Company. I went up to Whistler over the weekend, so I came out a few days earlier because I've never been to Whistler, so we're going to drink Whistler Brewing Company lager and talk about real estate.
Good idea.
It's just a great way to have a conference.
It is.
Hope you go to right
That's
home.
true. It wasn't in my budget to bring everybody here.
You're better at it than I am. More practice.
You know, that actually, though, is supposed to be the right way to pour beer. The more ahead, because if you don't, then that actually happens in your stomach, and that's why you get gassy. I've done this show a few times and talked about it before. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sorry, guys. Your beer comes after this, so you can go with that. So how long have you been in the business?
Just about 15 years so far.
So, and you have a team right now, right?
I have a team.
How many are on?
Right now, we're down to 2. We've basically, with all of the new models coming into BC this year and so on, we've taken a different tack to our business now, and we're building out associates rather than actual team members, so that we're not getting bound by agency.
Makes sense. So when you started in the industry, what did you do to grow your business?
What did we do? Well, first of all, I found out I was relatively good at generating leads, and we got to the point where we had too much, so we took too many leads. And
Good problem.
we're also fairly good at converting these leads when they come in. So we found that we had more business, so we attracted one agent first of all, and we got a really good admin to work with us, and then we grew to a team of 6 agents, and it was really lots and lots of fun. And we just built and built and built it, and we found that was the ideal number for us at that time, and we carried on with that. So, when all, just back to the new rules here in BC, you're all aware of them, I'm sure, and it's really difficult, it's going to be difficult after June 15th to have a team. So you're better off to have associates, and what we're looking at doing now is having agents in different offices that are associated with us, so that as we generate leads, we can push these leads out to these people in the different offices, and they can deal directly with the clients. And we, of course, will get our commission on part of that. So it's what we're looking at. We're very excited about it. We're in the process of building a brand new website for lead generation as well, so we want to get our numbers up to about 1,000 a month.
How many a month roughly are you generating now?
Right now, around 200 to 225.
And where are those mostly coming from?
They're coming from the Tri-Cities, and we had leads today from Richmond, from Coquitlam, from Maple Ridge.
Do you find a lot of that's like Google ads or Facebook ads, a combination of both?
We're using both. We do Google pay-per-click. I'm sure that most of you know what that is. We run a budget of about $1,000 a month on that. Right now, we're going to be doubling that.
Yep.
And also with Facebook. Facebook today's been a wonderful education for me. I hope it has been for the rest of you too, but
I'll send them the check after.
I may be old, but I'm very techy, and I love computers. I love working with computers. I love working on the internet and developing new things, and so this whole real estate career for me has been nothing but fun. It's been a great enjoyment, and I just could not imagine doing anything else.
If you went back to like when you were first kind of starting a team in that process, is there anything you do differently than what you guys do now?
I think, yes. there is things that I would have done differently. I don't know if I would share all of them. But one thing that it was kind of the attitude at the time when you're a team leader, you're kind of the boss, you know, and that's sort of the way it was laid out at that time. And over time, that kind of thing kind of went away. Basically, each agent is an independent agent. They have their own initiatives, and you know, they have their own reasons for doing things, and their reasons aren't my reasons. So rather than pushing my reasons on them, which I found didn't work out well, trying to find out what their reasons really are and really to help them to achieve those things. So that's been part of our success for sure.
One of the reasons I'm actually excited to talk to you about it, because like one of the things we let you guys know, like with online leads, it's actually once you figure out like a lot of the stuff we talked about today, generating leads is super easy. Once you've kind of figured out how it works, converting them is where it's really hard. Like the average conversion rate is like 1 to 2%. That's what I'm talking about, because you have a really good system in place. And one of the things we were talking about was text messaging. So I thought, you know, maybe share your thoughts on how you're doing that with online leads.
Sure. We've discovered, well, kicking and screaming discovered that text is really where it's at. And you know, I was trained in the world where a new lead came in, you had to call them within 5 minutes and so on. And we were finding that our actual engagement was getting less and less and less. So we were doing a lot less on the engagement side. So I studied a little bit on texting, how it worked and so on. So we now, instead of doing that initial phone call, we do an initial text. And then we do a follow-up text the same day. And you know, instead of having a response rate of maybe 8 or 9%, we're getting a response rate of 50 to 60%. So it's a very, very different thing.
Yeah, texting is huge. Like there's the stats on it. So like 93% of text messages are opened in the first 90 seconds. 97% open rate overall. Now that might not be response rate. Like obviously that drops to how people actually respond. You just mentioned like 50, 60% for you, but texting, like if you think about your email, the average in the industry is a 19% open rate. You can go up to 97% with text messages. It just makes sense to send those text messages.
Yeah. So I have our first 2 text messages that we use, and if anybody would like them, they can just send me an email. I'll gladly send it back to you. But they're both designed to go out the first day. And in terms of lead conversion, it's pretty amazing what people will tell you on text, where they won't tell you on email, and they will not return your phone call. That's pretty much a guarantee. So, you know, if any of you are looking at new ways to do text lead conversion, well, I'll tell you, texting is the way people respond to it.
And what software are you using to send that out?
We use a couple of things. We use 2 different programs. We use our automated system right now that we're using is called KB Core, which is a new version of a company called Conversion. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, and we're just building
KUN for conversion is
KUN. And we're just in the process of building a brand new website right now with a company called Real Geeks. And they have one of the highest conversion rates in the industry.
Yeah.
So we're building a very custom site with them. We're not using the standard cookie cutter, and we're using a lot of animated video and so on. So things to keep people there. It gets very much back to what you said.
Yeah.
You know, you keep people there for a minute, you got them for a long time.
Yeah, that's the toughest thing. Like if you look at your stats, like you should. It's amazing like what the bounce rate is. So bounce rate is like someone comes to your website, how many leave but without doing anything. And it's a lot of sites, especially in real estate, because we've looked at it for those who are tracking, like they're often over 90% bounce rates, which is terrible. So you got to have something that keeps them on your site that's informative and gives them value.
For sure.
How much time do you guys, like, are you guys doing content marketing or is it mostly like direct response marketing?
We do both. I would say we do 20% content marketing, getting people engaged that way.
Yeah.
But it's the majority of it is direct response.
Yeah.
You know, we want to capture that lead. We want to get them in there so that we get a chance to convert them. The other ones that are going to come really slowly, I mean, that's great too. We get people that originally came to our site 3 years ago that we're converting today. You know, so it's all a matter of time.
I know a lot of people ask about like the difference between Facebook and Google Ads, and I probably should have mentioned it before, and I'm sure you can corroborate on this. So like with Google Ads, and the reason that you should, like, over a long-term stretch, have a Google, especially direct response, is there's a lot more intent with Google Ads. So you'll like search like 4-bedroom home in Coquitlam, and then so you know what they're looking for. But you're also in competition with those leads a lot more because people open up like 4 tabs and contact 3 of them. Facebook, you don't have that. Those are the ones that take a little bit longer to convert, but you get more leads for a lot cheaper. So if you have a follow-up process like he has, long term, you find Facebook has that really good ROI, but for short term, Google Ads might be more effective for some people.
You know, I think the biggest thing with leads is once you get them, how do you manage them? You know, if you don't have a really good system in place to manage them, you're going to be overwhelmed after the first month. You know, you just get that many in, and you're trying to keep in touch with them and track with them, and if you don't have a system to automate that, you know, that's a real problem.
How much of the process is automated for you?
75%.
So at which point for you have you found it makes sense to have the person come in over the automation?
Well, once we've contacted them, then we kill the automation at that point, and we are in direct touch with them. And the whole part of that process is to bring them into the office for that first interview.
How long does your follow-up go until they've actually, so like say you stop them and say they contacted. If they never respond, how long does your follow-up system keep trying to get a hold of them?
3 years.
3 years. All right, that is the right way to do it. We found like a lot of people stop after like a week, 2 weeks, or a month, but a lot of leads, like even when I was selling, one of the first 10 leads I ever generated was actually one of the last deals I ever closed a couple of years later. Because I didn't, like at one point, I didn't hear from them for 8 months. And I just kept calling, kept emailing, kept going at them, and then eventually they responded like, yeah, we're ready to buy, and thank you for being so persistent. I thought I was being annoying, which is where I think a lot of people struggle, is they're worried about being annoying. But if you're providing value, people actually end up thanking you for it. I mean, you always get the odd person who's upset, but you can't avoid that. We found it great, like just keep being persistent. Like basically until we were told where to go, we kept contacting, and that works really well for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of programs. I just wanted to share. Exact Contact is a really good program out there, and you can set up drip campaigns. And there you can just have little emails that you go out to these people once a month or every 2 weeks or whatever you want. You can schedule it all. You can write the content. And as a matter of fact, you go online and you can find all kinds of content. So you can make it easy for yourself. But these long-term campaigns we're talking about, it might send out an email once a month to the people, and maybe it'll put a task in there for me at 6 months later to give them a call. And just kind of stay in touch like that. And most of the time they're just leaving a message, even when you do call. Because they've got your phone number. You know who you are. But you'd be amazed at how people start to respond.
What does your frequency of contact look like? Because you mentioned it gets to once a month.
Yeah.
But say you get a lead now, how does that look like? Is that daily for the first week, and then it goes every other day, then once a week? How does that look for you in terms of frequency of contact over time?
Okay. First day, 2 contacts. We do a text that just basically says, hey, we saw you on our site, nice to meet you, greet kind of thing. And then later that day we have a second email or text that goes out, and it says, I forgot to ask, are you an investor or are you looking for a home to live in? And that's the one that most of the time people will respond on the second one. And if they don't respond, 3 days later we have an email go out to them. And then it's once a week. After that, we don't want to hit them too hard. But in the meantime, when they've come into our site initially, they've come in to see something. So they come in, they land on our site, and they might look at 2 or 3 different properties. Our sites will automatically have a look at what they're looking at, and they'll configure an automatic search for them. So they will be continuously dripped by properties in the meantime as well, that come up that kind of meet their specifications, as well as we'll go in and make sure that the drips are, the configuration of the searches are as close as they can be. So sometimes you're, from 200,000 to 12 million. You're going to get 8 million listings going to these.
Do you find the majority of leads you generate are buyer leads?
Yes, very much so.
Are you putting much into seller leads, or is it just mostly that's where most of your focus is?
We do, we do a little bit on seller leads, but one thing that we've discovered is that a lot of these buyers are also sellers. And just, once you get into them and get to know them a little bit, they'll kind of open the kimono, if you will, and you get to learn a whole bunch more about them. Once they think that they know you a little bit and they trust you, it's the way it goes.
That's good.
The average time, just so that you know, the average time for an internet lead, average North America-wide, to be converted is 12 to 18 months after they first come into your system. So if you're expecting them to convert in 2 days, it's probably not going to happen. You'll be very disappointed.
You might get lucky the odd time. Like we've had some clients who in the first week got a new listing, and then we've had others that took them a long time because that's just the nature of internet. You can get lucky sometimes with a quick one, but you do need that nurture process in place for you're going to find. Have you ever found that there's been a point where you've tried to contact people too much?
Not really. I've had people that tell us to quit sending them stuff, but it wouldn't have mattered if it was every 2 months to them. They just didn't want to hear from us. So we just remove them from our system. So we're not out to spam anybody. And if somebody's been in our system for a long time, we'll send them an email just to get them to confirm back that it's okay to keep sending them stuff because we don't want to spam them. And the majority of people will respond back. Say yes or take me off your list.
How often do you send out an email like that?
6 months.
That's pretty good. Yeah. So you're doing this now, like for you, a year from now, 5 years from now, how do you think your business will change?
Right now, we're going to be growing exponentially. So we're learning new techniques, we're learning new ways of doing business. We've amended our budget somewhat. We've looked at our ways of converting. We're getting very involved in text, like I said, and so on. And we've never had the contact rate that we've got now.
I know, because we talked a bit before we got on stage. You were mentioning you were also going to build your agent-to-agent referral business.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about with a strategy around the like building your agent referral network?
I think the agent referral network is really important because an agent, if I'm going to refer business to an agent in another community, if I've got somebody that is moving to Victoria, I want to have somebody there that I know and I trust and I feel that I can comfortably refer my client to. And, they're going to be well looked after. I think that's one of the biggest things, and I want to make sure that the person on the other end is capable. Are they a brand new realtor, or are they somebody who's been in the business 10 years? Are they a medallion member? What are they?
How much time do you invest in building those relationships?
Not as much as I should. Not as much as I should. We do some referral business. I've got friends all over Canada and in the real estate industry, but no, I should spend a lot more time than I do.
It's like everyone has those parts of their business where they need to spend more time on. I know I have a lot.
I'm looking at I'm looking at expanding here, and I've got a junior partner that I've got Donnie, and I'm looking at bringing in another one. And the whole idea is that it'll free me up to get out and work on building some of these relationships out there, and also with local businesses. We're starting to do a lot of video with them.
So that's glad you brought that up. So what are you doing with video in your business?
We do some video testimonials if our clients are up to it. Some of them are and some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And those are very powerful. We're starting to do videos with local businesses. I mean, every business that's around you do business with would love to have a little free video done of them. And you can make it up, you can promote their business, and it makes you look like a really neighborhood person too. If you're not comfortable doing it, and there's lots of companies out there, young upstarts coming out of technical schools and so on that are willing to get out there and practice their trade, for not very much money. The big part of that is learning how to edit the videos, but you can maybe also find somebody that can do that for you inexpensively. But people love that stuff. That's great meat for Facebook especially, and in your video blog. Does everybody have a blog in their website?
You should.
Does everybody use it?
So we're just about out of time. Probably time for like 1 or 2 questions if anyone has any that they'd like to ask Doc. Any questions? Yeah.
We're from Victoria.
Okay, thanks.
They'll find you at the back for a drink shortly. So any other questions? Yeah, we have one here.
Blog content, do you write specific real estate content, wide ranging in your blog. So
What did he say?
Are you, for your blog, are you doing real estate specific content or other type of content?
No, we do both.
yeah,
We do both. People love information.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way I do is I look at who your target market is and just give them information that's valuable to them. So like when I was selling, I targeted first time home buyers, so I just, whether it's real estate or not, like community information, because I know their age, I just give them information about what's going on in the community too, just specific to that audience.
I just want to say that I have been a bad blogger, and I'm trying to be a good one.
All right, last question here, and then we'll wrap up.
When you set up your system for online lead generation, how long did it take from the first day to get enough leads for your business?
So how long did it take to start till you start getting leads? How long for you?
One day,
Yeah, like,
you know,
if you set up an ad the right way with Facebook or Google, like there's no general delay. Like, you know, it might take a day, but like we've had ads that get leads in the first 5 minutes. Like what I generally say, that if you've spent $50 on a campaign and it hasn't generated any leads, then you should look at making a change. Like don't let an ad run for $1,000 hoping that it'll turn around. If you spent $50, $100, you haven't gotten anything, then you know you need to make a change because you should have gotten something by then. I think that's it. That's all the time we have for today. So thank you for coming up. We appreciate it.